In 1978, Dallas was the epitome of luxury, intrigue, and drama. The show that captured America's obsession with wealth and power still holds a special place in pop culture today. But what about the cast members who became household names thanks to this iconic series? From love triangles to scandals, let's explore how Dallas stars have evolved, transformed, and in some cases, scandalized the world from then to now. Join us as we uncover the untold stories of the Dallas cast, then and now. 1. Larry Hagman, J.R. Ewing. The tragical life of the villain. Everyone loved to hate. When you think of the Dallas, what's the first thing that comes to mind? The extravagant oil tycoons? The backstabbing? The betrayal? The power struggles? Of course it's J.R. Ewing, Larry Hagman's iconic portrayal of the ultimate villain. On the contrary, his reality is filled with the cruelty of illness and successive tragedies. Hagman wasn't just playing a role, he was J.R. The show's huge success catapulted him into stardom. He received multiple Golden Globe nominations and cemented himself as one of the most memorable villains in television history. His catchphrase, "I'm the one who's gonna win," is still quoted to this day. But let's not sugarcoat it. J.R. was a ruthless, selfish man. How could a character like this not leave a lasting mark on an actor's career? After the Dallas saga, Larry Hagman's story post, Dallas wasn't as glamorous as you might expect. After his iconic run as J.R., Hagman's personal life took a tragic turn. Behind the scenes, Hagman fought his own battles, most notably his struggle with alcohol addiction. His partying lifestyle during the Dallas was notorious, and it wasn't just a phase for the actor. It became a pattern that affected his relationships and his career. Then came the bombshell. In the early 2000s, Hagman was diagnosed with cancer. His health deteriorated, and this larger-than-life figure, who had been the very essence of the Dallas drama, began to face the harsh realities of his own life. His untimely death in 2012 marked the end of an era. But even in death, Hagman remained a figure of intrigue. He left behind a legacy that was as complicated as his character. Was J.R. the real Hagman? Or was that just the image he wore for the cameras? The world may never truly know. But what we do know is that his brilliance as J.R. will forever be etched in TV history, even as his personal struggles remind us that no one, no matter how famous, escapes their demons. 2. Patrick Duffy, Bobby Ewing. The good guy who couldn't be faded off, and a quiet life after the spotlight. Patrick Duffy, on the other hand, was the embodiment of everything good and pure. As Bobby Ewing, he was the moral backbone of the Ewing family. While J.R. schemed and lied his way through the world, Bobby represented the good guy, the man everyone wanted to root for. So what happened to the Bobby Ewing we once adored? Duffy's portrayal of Bobby earned him Golden Globe nominations and an unwavering fan base. He was the kind of character you wanted to marry, and that's exactly what the audience loved. After Dallas, Duffy managed to keep a much lower profile than his co-stars. He wasn't caught in the whirlwind of Hollywood scandals. Instead, he embraced a quieter, more private life. While many of his co-stars dove into a series of high-profile roles or became embroiled in media controversies, Duffy avoided the chaos and focused on his family life. In a world where actors' personal lives are often just as sensational as their roles, Patrick Duffy chose to remain grounded. In fact, Duffy now lives outside of the Hollywood spotlight. He has continued acting, though in much smaller projects. He's done voice work, appeared in a few TV shows, and mostly kept his career low-key. He seems to have found peace outside of the fame that once surrounded him. Has the world grown tired of him? Or did he simply walk away from it all before the drama could consume him, as it did so many of his co-stars? 3. Linda Gray, Sue Ellen Ewing. From a long-suffering, glamorous wife to reinvention and public shock with George Kennedy. Sue Ellen Ewing, Linda Gray's portrayal of the long-suffering, glamorous wife of J.R. Ewing, was one of the most tragic, heart-wrenching storylines of the Dallas. From dealing with J.R.'s constant betrayal to her own battle with alcoholism, Sue Ellen's life was a never-ending roller coaster of pain and desperation. And yet, she was undeniably glamorous, with her perfectly styled hair and luxurious wardrobe. Fans couldn't help but empathize with her, even as they watched her spiral into chaos. Gray's portrayal of Sue Ellen earned her both Golden Globe and Emmy nominations, solidifying her status as one of the show's standout stars. Her character became the epitome of the glamorous but tortured housewife, and viewers couldn't help but wonder, would she ever find happiness in the shadow of JR's manipulative grip? In many ways, Linda Gray's life after Dallas mirrored the twists and turns of her character's journey. After the show, Gray faced some personal struggles, including depression, as well as the challenges of dealing with her public image. Linda Gray's marriage to Ed Thrasher, a photographer, was filled with its own share of public tension and drama. The couple was often in the media spotlight, and their eventual divorce in the 1980s fueled gossip. Linda has been involved in several public love stories, one of the more notable being her relationship with actor George Kennedy. Though not directly a love triangle, Gray's complicated romantic history added to the scandals and drama surrounding her personal life. Yet, as with her character, Gray found a way to reinvent herself. She became an advocate for women's health and mental wellness, using her public platform to speak openly about the struggles she faced. In fact, she has been vocal about her battles with depression and the pressure of being constantly in the public eye. But did the world truly accept Linda Gray's real self, or was she forever trapped as Sue Ellen in the eyes of the public? Her honesty has earned her a new level of respect, but will that ever overshadow her role as the tortured wife of J.R. Ewing? The tragic beauty of her character will always be part of her legacy, but Linda Gray's personal story of resilience gives her a whole new dimension. What do you think about this girl? Does her change make you look forward to a better version in the future? Let us know what you think. Now let's go to another Dallas rebel. 4. Charlene Tilton, Lucy Ewing. In an industry obsessed with youth and beauty, what happened with the wild, rebellious Ewing daughter, Lucy Ewing? When Dallas first hit the screen, there was one character who stood out for her fiery spirit, youthful energy, and chaotic love life, Lucy Ewing. Played by Charlene Tilton, Lucy was the rebellious young Ewing who constantly stirred up trouble in the Ewing family. Whether it was her tumultuous relationships or her high-spirited, often reckless behavior, Lucy was the kind of character you couldn't ignore. Tilton quickly became recognized as a rising star, thanks to her portrayal of Lucy. However, as much as she was celebrated for her bold personality and passion, her acting skills often took a back seat to the drama surrounding her character's antics. Lucy was more about the drama, infamous affairs, wild parties, and familial betrayals than anything else. And the viewers loved it. Tilton was nominated for awards and gained a strong following, but she was also often typecast as the wild child of the show. Was this the role that would define her forever? After the Dallas ended, Tilton faced a difficult challenge, trying to escape the typecasting that came with playing Lucy. The sweet, rebellious character didn't exactly prepare her for the nuanced, serious roles she hoped to land in her post-Dallas career. But it wasn't just typecasting that became an issue for Tilton. Her personal battles also played out in the public eye. She struggled with her health, undergoing major weight loss, and dealing with the challenges of aging in an industry obsessed with youth and beauty. Charlene Tilton's short-lived marriage to country singer Johnny Lee was filled with emotional ups and downs, including accusations of infidelity and jealousy. The pair had a tumultuous relationship that led to a public and bitter divorce in 1983. After her divorce, Charlene was linked to several men in Hollywood, adding fuel to her reputation as a woman caught in a whirlwind of love triangles and drama. Her personal life continued to be in the tabloids, especially after her relationship with actor Dean Cain in the 1990s. In contrast to Charlene, there are some characters who after Dallas become more closed off. Who is that, and why did they choose that life? 5. Ken Kercheval, Cliff Barnes. Where did Kercheval go after the Dallas finale? If J.R. Ewing was the king of scheming and manipulation, then Cliff Barnes, played by Ken Kercheval, was his worthy rival. A constant thorn in the side of the Ewing family, particularly J.R., Cliff was the classic antagonist, driven by revenge and ambition. And every plot he hatched to bring the Ewings down, particularly J.R., made audiences tune in week after week. Kercheval's portrayal of Cliff earned him several soap opera awards nominations, and he quickly became a TV icon, an unforgettable foil to the Ewing family's dynasty. What was it about Cliff Barnes that captivated audiences? Was it his dogged determination or his ever-present battle against the Ewing empire that made him so memorable? Whatever it was, Cliff became one of the Dallas' most enduring characters. But where did Kercheval go after the Dallas finale? Unlike many of his co-stars who went on to high-profile careers or faced public scandals, Kercheval chose a quieter, more mysterious path. After the Dallas, he appeared in a variety of guest roles, but his career didn't take off in the same way. Perhaps like his character Cliff, Kercheval was a bit of an underdog in Hollywood. In the 2010s, Kercheval reprised his role as Cliff Barnes in the Dallas reboot, offering fans a sense of nostalgia while showing that the rivalry between Cliff and JR, even from beyond the grave, still had legs. But aside from that, he remained largely out of the spotlight, leading a life that was far more private than many of his former co-stars. How did he manage to stay out of the media frenzy that often consumed the cast? Perhaps it's because Kercheval was never really interested in being a star. He was more content to be the man behind the scenes, the solid actor who defined his role without needing constant attention. But what about his legacy? Cliff Barnes may not have been a hero, but he's certainly a character that lives on in the hearts of the Dallas fans. 6. Jim Davis, Jock Ewing, the premature death of a rising star. Jim Davis's portrayal of Jock Ewing, the tough, no-nonsense patriarch of the Ewing family, was a cornerstone of the Dallas. While Davis wasn't showered with awards like some of his co-stars, Jock's importance to the series couldn't be overstated. He may not have been the most glamorous role, but he was undoubtedly essential to the show's success. How could a family dynasty survive without a strong patriarch like Jock Ewing? Tragically, Jim Davis passed away in 1981 during the height of Dallas' popularity. His sudden death from cancer left a void in the show that would never truly be filled. Fans and cast members alike were shaken by the loss of a man who had been more than just a co-star. He was a mentor, a father figure, and a key reason for the show's success. The Ewing family dynamic was forever altered by his absence. How could Dallas continue without Jock Ewing? In the aftermath of his death, the show struggled to replace him with other figures of authority, but it was clear that none could truly fill his shoes. Jim Davis's passing remains a sad chapter in the Dallas history, one that still resonates with fans. Today, his legacy endures through reruns, and Jock Ewing is remembered fondly as one of TV's most iconic patriarchs. But what could have been if Davis had lived longer? How would Jock's character have evolved? And what impact might he have had on the series had he been there for the final episodes? The questions remain unanswered, but Davis's portrayal of Jock Ewing will forever live on as a beloved part of TV history. 7. Steve Canale, Ray Krebs. From a tough ex-cowboy with a heart of gold to a lifelong actor who avoided the spotlight, Steve Canale's portrayal of Ray Krebs was not flashy, but his authenticity was undeniable. While not the recipient of major awards like his co-stars, Canale's role as Ray was vital to the ensemble cast. His character brought depth to the show, but how would Canale's life unfold after such an iconic role? After the Dallas ended, Canale chose a much quieter path than many of his co-stars. He avoided the Hollywood spotlight, taking on smaller, character-driven roles in TV and film, where his acting chops were still respected, but he was never thrust into the media frenzy. Canale's life has always been about acting for the love of the craft rather than fame. He's remained largely out of the tabloid spotlight, and in recent years, he's maintained a steady but low-key career. Canale never craved the fame that many others did, instead choosing to live a quieter, more grounded life. 8. Susan Howard, Donna Culver Krebs. What happens when female actors become socio-political activists? Howard's portrayal of Donna earned her nominations for various soap opera awards, and she quickly became known for her strong-willed, no-nonsense persona. Fans admired Donna for being a woman who didn't just sit back and let things happen, she pushed for change. But after Dallas, Howard's career would take an unexpected turn. After leaving the Dallas in the late 1980s, Susan Howard transitioned away from acting and into activism. She became deeply involved in political causes, environmental issues, and women's rights. Howard's decision to leave acting wasn't sudden. It was a deliberate choice to follow her own passions, far away from the world of Hollywood. In the years since, Howard has been regarded as an influential activist, and her legacy has become one of advocacy and social justice rather than the glitz of television fame. She's known not only for her role as Donna, but for the impact she's had in the world outside of acting. Is this the real-life version of Donna Culver we never got to see on screen? A woman who went from acting to activism, using her platform for change. What do you think about her? Did this unexpected change inspire you? 9. Barbara Bel Geddes, Miss Ellie Ewing. A beloved figure who left us too soon. What truly happened? Barbara Bel Geddes was the embodiment of warmth and wisdom as Miss Ellie Ewing, the beloved matriarch of the Ewing family. She was fiercely protective of her family, often struggling to keep peace between her two sons, Bobby and JR, who were constantly at odds. But despite her role as a mother, Miss Ellie was also a woman who had her own personal struggles and complexities. Bel Geddes' portrayal of Miss Ellie earned her a Golden Globe Award and an Emmy nomination, with the role becoming one of the most iconic matriarchs in television history. Her elegance and grace made Miss Ellie a figure audiences could admire and relate to. How did Bel Geddes manage to bring so much depth and humanity to a character that was so central to Dallas' dramatic landscape? Unfortunately, Barbara Bel Geddes retired from acting in the late 1980s, and her absence from the screen left a void in these Dallas series. Bel Geddes was diagnosed with cancer and passed away in 2005, leaving fans devastated by the loss of one of the Dallas' most beloved stars. Her death was particularly hard for fans who had grown up watching her as the calming, loving presence on the show. Her passing marked the end of an era for the Dallas, one that could never truly be replaced. 10. Audrey Landers, Afton Cooper. Could Audrey Landers' portrayal of the manipulative Afton Cooper be the reason her own life was forever tied to scandal and drama? Audrey Landers burst onto the Dallas scene as Afton Cooper, the sultry, scheming beauty whose ambitions and manipulations sent shockwaves through the Ewing family. With her wicked allure and relentless pursuit of power, she became a symbol of the show's most scandalous moments, an irresistible femme fatale who didn't shy away from causing chaos to get what she wanted. And just like the turbulent world she entered, Landers' real-life story was equally filled with intrigue. Although Landers didn't face any major scandals during her time on Dallas, her role as a homewrecker in the show followed her in real life. She transitioned to a musical career in the 80s and remained involved in TV, movies, and business ventures. While her fame has diminished over time, Landers remains a beloved figure among Dallas fans and is still seen as an icon of the show's era. 11. George Kennedy, Carter McKay. From the Machiavellian oil tycoon to a legend who never stepped away, George Kennedy's portrayal of Carter McKay, the ruthless oil tycoon who challenged the Ewings, was one of the standout performances of Dallas' later years. McKay's cutthroat business tactics and powerful presence made him a memorable antagonist, and Kennedy's imposing screen presence made him an unforgettable villain. Kennedy lived a largely scandal-free life, focusing on his career with a no-nonsense attitude. He continued to work in Hollywood after Dallas, appearing in numerous films, including the Naked Gun series. Kennedy passed away in 2016, but remains a legend in Hollywood. His commanding presence both on and off screen is still celebrated today, cementing his legacy as one of Dallas' most formidable characters. 12. Joshua Harris, John Ross Ewing III. When the burden of the main role causes the character to leave the spotlight. Joshua Harris played the young John Ross, the son of Bobby and Pam, whose future within the Ewing family was marked by conflict and intrigue. As a central character in the later seasons of Dallas, Harris had the tough task of stepping into a prominent role, but his portrayal of the next generation of Ewings struggled to compete with the established stars around him. After Dallas, Harris largely disappeared from acting. He avoided the major scandals that plagued some of his co-stars and instead opted for a quieter life away from the public eye. Though remembered fondly by fans of the later seasons, Harris is largely forgotten by modern audiences. His departure from the spotlight was a deliberate escape from the pressures of fame, leaving fans to wonder if he ever regretted stepping away or simply found peace in anonymity. 13. Priscilla Presley, Jenna Wade. The heartbreaker with a complex past and an equally complicated personal life. Priscilla Presley entered Dallas as Jenna Wade, Bobby's love interest, a character entwined in the dramatic complexities of the Ewing family. While known for her emotional storyline, Presley was already a figure of intense public fascination due to her marriage to Elvis Presley. Her role on Dallas only heightened her media presence, with fans drawn to her glamour and tragic air. Beyond her Dallas role, Priscilla's personal life was filled with intense media scrutiny, especially after her divorce from Elvis in 1973. Later, controversies over her management of his estate and legal battles regarding her daughter Lisa Marie's inheritance kept her in the headlines. Despite this, Presley carved out a successful business career managing Graceland, launching a beauty product line, and starring in The Naked Gun films. Though overshadowed by her ex-husband's legacy for years, she reinvented herself as a respected entrepreneur and businesswoman. With poise and resilience, she remains a timeless icon, but the scandals of her personal life are never far from the surface. However, fortunately, there are still people who continue to succeed after Dallas. Who are they? 14. Victoria Principal, Pamela Barnes Ewing. From the heart of the show to a business mogul and advocate. What did she do? Victoria Principal portrayed Pam Ewing, Bobby's wife, and the central emotional figure in Dallas' early years. Her character's tragic storyline, particularly Bobby's death and resurrection, kept viewers on the edge of their seats. Pam was loved for her poise, beauty, and devotion to Bobby. However, behind the scenes, Principal's contract disputes and behind-the-scenes drama often made headlines. Her portrayal of Pam made her a household name. But was she really the picture-perfect star we saw on screen? After leaving Dallas, Principal turned her focus to business, becoming an incredibly successful entrepreneur, especially in skincare. She founded a multi-million-dollar company and became an advocate for beauty and wellness. However, her exit from Dallas wasn't as smooth as it seemed. Rumors swirled that she left the show due to behind-the-scenes tension. Nevertheless, Principal reinvented herself, stepping away from acting altogether. Today, she's known not just for her role as Pam, but for her savvy business acumen and philanthropic work. Has she been able to move past the drama and create her own legacy, or is she still tied to the Ewing family name? 15. Deborah Renard, Sly Lovegren. What happened with the seductive secretary, Sly Lovegren? Deborah Renard's role as Sly Lovegren, the secretary with a flair for drama, was a memorable one. Sly's entanglements with various Ewing family members made her a key part of the Dallas storylines, though her role was mostly secondary to the major plotlines. Despite being one of the more alluring characters, Sly's complicated love life and personal drama added intrigue. But did Renard face the same kind of public scrutiny as other Dallas stars? An actress with a steady career. After Dallas, Renard appeared in some guest roles, but mostly stepped away from acting. She didn't face any major scandals like her Dallas co-stars, but also didn't achieve long-term fame. Today, she's seen as a respected actress who remains under the radar, with many fans of the Dallas remembering her fondly, but not necessarily following her career closely. She's a classic example of a character actress who didn't have the same kind of media attention or scandals as others, but still holds a place in fans' hearts. Though Dallas may have ended decades ago, its cast's journey is far from over. From the highs of red carpet premieres to the lows of shocking public scandals, the Ewing family's saga continues, just behind the scenes. What's next for these stars? Only time will tell. Curious about how Hollywood legends rise, fall, and reinvent themselves? Want to know the untold stories behind the stars who captivated the world? Keep following for more shocking transformations, unforgettable scandals, and insider tales from the world of Hollywood. Don't miss out. Subscribe, share, and stay tuned for the latest updates.